Hello everybody, today we are going to discuss report writing which is of 5 marks, right? And the word limit for this is 120 to 150 words. So here along with report writing, you will have article writing as well, and that will be an option. It means 2 questions will be there. Out of 2 you'll have to attempt 1, right? So here in report writing there are 2 types: newspaper reports or reports for magazine. These are the 2 varieties that you will find in your exam, right? So we are talking of, that's why these 2 varieties only. Now the allocation of marks is, for layout you will be given 1 mark. That means we have a certain pattern for this, like writing the title, then the byline, and then place and date, and then the body. So that is the layout, and for that you will be given 1 mark. I'll make it more clear and then later. But content will be of 2 marks and expression will be of 2 marks. So now in content, of course, as I told you in the earlier topics as well, that subject matter, what, when, where, why, how. So these form your content or your subject matter, and for that you are given 2 marks. Expression, so now I'll make it clear for you here. Expression means these are the things involved in your expression, that is your relevance, coherence, your fluency, style, and grammar, spelling. So these are the things included in expression. It means you get 2 marks for all these things, right? So what is relevance? Means whatever you write should be related to the topic given. Quite naturally, if we are being asked something in the question, we have to write related to that. But what happens that relevance and coherence get disturbed when you don't manage your time properly. And so what happens, the thoughts come pell-mell and in a haphazard manner, and that's why you write, you don't write in a relevant manner, or whatever you write is not in coherence. So, see, the problem is you have to write around 150 words. And there what happens is, if you are not in the habit of writing long compositions, you don't get material, you don't get matter, you are stuck. And you start thinking now what to write, what to include. And so, when you don't get matter relevant to the topic, you write anything. And that disturbs the relevance, right? So, now mind this. First you manage time properly. And if you have proper time, you will be able to think. And then you will get relevant matter as well to elaborate the topic up to 150 words. Coherence, again the same problem as I said. If you don't have enough practice, then what happens, it will get disturb your coherence. Coherence means whatever you write should have a proper beginning, proper mid, and proper ending. But if you don't have the thought flow, if you haven't practiced well, then what will happen, whatever should be written in the beginning, perhaps that you won't remember at that proper time, and you will remember that at the end. And then what you will do, just using some arrow or so, you will place it there somewhere in the line. Or you think, okay, examiner is not going to read the whole thing, and so you will add that in the end itself. So if you do this kind of thing, then definitely that will disturb the coherence. That whatever you write should have a proper place. That either whatever should be in the beginning should be there in the beginning, whatever should be at the end should be at the end, right? So that coherence must be proper, and that can be managed only if you have enough time to think and then to write. Okay, so and then fluency. Fluency is what? See, your writing, your copy, your answer sheet reflects your fluency. Unless you have proper practice, there won't be any fluency in your work. It means what? There'll be lots of crossing and cancellation and all such things would be there. So practice properly so that your thoughts come in a proper manner, in a proper flow, because it happens because you don't have that proper thought flow. And to avoid that thought flow, to have that thought flow, we need to practice properly. So practice variety of questions, read variety of questions, and then automatically you will have a thought flow, you will have this fluency. Style. Style is also very important to score full out of full, 5 out of 5. It means if you write in a very, say mediocre, average manner, for example, a primary class students write, in that manner if you write, definitely you are not going to get 5 out of 5. So you must have that seasoning of style in your work. For example, you have learned articles or such long compositions in your lower classes as well. Now, if you write in that manner, that style, definitely you won't get 5 out of 5. For example, if you write an article on Diwali, that we celebrate Diwali every year, we purchase new clothes, we paint our houses, and we fire crackers on Diwali. If you write this way, definitely it won't impress your examiner. So if you have to add some style in that. For example, let me give you another example. You write about some bank robbery, and you say a van was moving at a fast pace. There were 8 to 10 men inside the van. Their faces were masked, and they had guns in their hands. So you write like that. Now, this is not very impressive. There is no grammatical mistake, but of course not impressive. Now, if you write in some different way, that during the silence of atmosphere, a van came at a rapid pace and came to a screeching halt just before the bank. There were 8 to 10 men inside the van, all masked and laced with guns. And as soon as the van stopped in front of the bank, they dashed out into the bank. So if you add the style, the seasoning of style, if it is there, nobody can stop you from having 5 out of 5, right? So this style, you must remember this while practicing, and when you read, mark good phrases and good lines and use them while writing this long composition especially. Okay, grammar and spelling, if there are minor mistakes, can be ignored, but too much definitely will result into the deduction of your marks. So you must remember that. Okay, so after this, let me talk about the format. And see the format here, you'll have to write the title, then a byline. So let me give you an example here. The title is PNB looted. Okay, this is the title. Now byline means you will write by and then the name just below this. You might have seen in the newspaper reports, but okay, if you haven't seen anything like this, this is the way we need to write in the exam. That's what you have to remember. Okay, so the title and then by and then the name, and then what place and date. Now here the name will be given in the question. If not given, you can write XYZ, staff correspondent, that can be written. After this, place So you might have seen, suppose the new report is about Kota city, related to Kota city. So what we'll do, we'll write Kota, then comma, date. So this, and then colon, and after this we can start the report, or from the next line as well you can do that. So this is place and date, and after this we write the body. So this is the pattern we need to follow, and this happens in newspaper reports. There is difference in some part of the pattern in newspaper report and report for school magazine or so. So what is the difference? I'll tell you later. Okay, so after this, okay, this is the pattern this is the way we'll have to begin. After this, what do we do? As per the question, we'll write the report. Okay, do a good beginning, some attractive beginning. Now, in the report, what you have to include, how you have to expand or elaborate. So what, when, where, why, how, like what happened, where happened, when happened, how happened, all those things are to be included. Apart from that, what the casualties, we mentioned about casualties, injuries and all those things. If any death happened, loss of property, loss of life, you will mention about that. Then if some rescue operation is going on, you will mention about rescue operation. If some officer or some authority is visiting the place, you will mention about that. Some minister visits or some officer visits the place, you will mention about that. And if some promises being made that the injured people will be given this help or that, will be given 10,000 or so, so that can be included, or something like that the relatives or the family members of the dead ones will be given a job or something like that. So that is to be included in your report. And one more important thing, and that is a statement. I would like you to include a statement in your report. Now, statement means, suppose it is about a train accident and you say, the railway minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal said, comma, inverted comma, and what he said, just include that. Okay, is very good, it will be very impressive and will help you fetch marks, right? Will substantiate your report, will make it more concrete. So do this thing. Okay, and then apart from this, there is one more thing. We include, alleged reports, alleged statements, like we say it has been allegedly said. Now, what does that mean actually? That it has no proof. Yes, people, we heard someone say, but there is no proof of that. So that is called alleged report, and that can also be included. And at the end, what we have to do, you can offer some suggestion or some warning at the end. That can be done, and that will make your report complete. Fine. Now, this was what I mentioned. This was about some mishappening, some accident, some mishappening. Now, it can be about some event or some ceremony as well. If it is about some event, some ceremony, will write who is the organizer, who was the chief guest, how was the program inaugurated or started by lighting the lamp or something else, some other way, welcome song was there or something else, ribbon cutting or so. That can be included. Then who was the host, what he did, how he started, what programs were there, all those things. A list of programs in brief can be given. Then we can mention about prizes or certificates. We can talk of all that. Then we can talk of the speeches, that who made speeches, the chief guest made speeches, or somebody else, okay, who was the organizer, he made the speech. Then we can talk of vote of thanks, because at the end, okay, Thanksgiving is there, so we can talk of vote of thanks. Then we can also, if it is about some, say, camp, for example, a 5-day camp or 3-day camp, that is health checkup camp or so. So what happened in 5-day camp or 3-day camp? At the end of that, we give a report of that. Means a briefing of the things happen in 3 days or 5 days. So that is given. So just that report we can talk about that also. Then a statement by the organizer or the chief guest, that can also be included. So that is about some event. And if it is, say, I mentioned especially about the school magazine report, because I said some event, so annual function or something like that is happening, and you mentioned all these details. Suppose some health checkup camp is there, and in that case, you can mention about how many beds were there, what facilities were provided to the patients, and moreover, apart from the facilities provided, you can also talk about if some medicines were given. So what kind of operations, if there was any performed, so you can mention about that. Though in health checkup camp we don't perform any operation, if something else is there, then we can talk of the operation. If any special services were offered, like some good or some specialist doctor was called from Delhi or Mumbai or something like that, some such place, you can talk of that, and you can mention a statement, right? In school reports, what happens, we read the annual report by a vice principal or the principal. So that annual report, we can talk of that yes, annual report was read by the principal or vice principal, that can be included. And in such reports, one more thing is important, and that is what it is, the general feeling or reaction. So general reaction or feeling. It means if we are talking about some health checkup camp or something like that, so what is the general reaction? People saying that such camp should be organized at least twice a year. They are very helpful for the poor people. So that kind of reaction. If it is something about the school function or so, we can say that parents were really happy or very happy, extremely happy after the program was over, and they said that it was such a fantabulous program that they had never seen in their life or never enjoyed in their life. So something like that can be included at the end of the report, and that will definitely impress the examiner, and you will definitely get 5 out of 5. Now, one more thing that I must bring your attention to, and that is this thing. In school magazine reports, we don't have to mention the place and the date, right? In newspaper reports, we can do this, but if it is something related to school magazine, you don't have to mention place and date. So that is the difference, because what happens in school magazine reports, we mention about this in the report itself. So we don't have to write this separately. So this is the only difference. Rest is all the same. And I have already discussed all the details of both varieties. If it is some mishappening, then how you will write. If it is some event or ceremony, then what will you write? And the other details, how you will expand. So all those details have been already discussed, and you have to follow the order what I just said. So I think it's very much clear to you now how to write a report. Okay, so that's it, and thank you very much. Hello everybody, today we are going to discuss article writing, which is of 5 marks and is a part of your long composition, and you have an option with article, that is report writing, right? So this is to be written in 120 to 150 words, right? That is the word limit. And there are certain points that you must remember while writing an article. It's a part of long composition, so some students find some problem in long composition, that how to elaborate the topic to 150 words or so, how to write a page or two on a certain topic. So that is a problem with some of the students who don't have the writing skills, and who, like, when they start writing, just after writing 2-3 lines, they are stuck. Now what? So here we are going to discuss, or I'm going to tell you that how it can be easy for you to write 150 words or even more than that, and you won't feel at you won't feel yourself at a loss of words or so. That means you will have enough amount of ideas and enough amount of sentences and everything to complete an article. So let's see first the pattern or the format of this. And the allocation of marks is just as what we discussed in report writing. So it is quite similar, so I'm not going to repeat that. Now here, format. First introduction, second exposition, and then conclusion. These are the three things. And your article should be around in 4 to 5 paras. That is always good. Now, first, in introduction, you can use what? Some quote. You can use some quote. You can use some poetic line. Right? This can be done. Or you can use metaphorical expression. Right? This can be done. So now you'll say that quotes, how is it possible to remember quotes on different topics? Because there are so many topics, there are hundreds of topics. So how we can learn quotes on all the topics? So see, I'll say that topics are not many. There are just some topics, but the thing is that they can be correlated with the current issues and things. So it's not that you will have to remember lots of things. You'll have to remember just certain quotes if you can find and collect them, and then that will really be helpful. Now, how it is so, I'll tell you. What are the topics? Like, there can be a topic related to science. Now, you have already studied essays or articles on science like Boon or Ban and something like that. Now, if today something is given on science, it will not be just Boon or Ban, it will be something else. It will be related to the present. Like, students should not be allowed mobile phones in school, or use of gadgets for studies in this pandemic times. So, we can correlate the things with the present issues and things. So, what you have to learn, if you remember or learn something on science, that can be applied on any such topic related to science. So, it means you won't have to cram so many quotes, just certain limited ones, and they can help you in certain topics. Okay, then there can be something related to women. So it can be women education, women empowerment. There can be something related to education. So education, we can talk of school education, we can talk of higher education, we can talk of co-education, we can talk of child education. So it means basic topic is education, and that can be related to in different ways, that can be asked in different ways. So a quote on education can help you out in any of these topics. Right? Similarly, it can be about youth, it can be about natural calamities. We see cyclones and tsunami and such kind of things are happening every year, and people are getting affected, lives are getting affected by those things. So you can talk of, or you can cram a quote on those things as well. there can be something on tourism, there can be something on democracy, there can be something on social evils as well. So child labor, child marriage, these are the things related to social evils, and there can be more such. Today we talk of cybercrime, today we talk of digital India. So these are just topics that are current and can be used in different ways. So if you remember quotes on these certain topics, will help you definitely in some or the other way. If not in article, then in report or letter or anywhere you can use them. So that is an important aspect, and you must remember that. Poetic lines, if you can just frame 2 or 3 lines based on the topic, that will definitely beautify your article. Metaphorical expressions, if you can compare and present that in a beautiful manner, that too is a good idea. Or you should give your article a different beginning, a beautiful beginning. For example, you are writing on tourism and you say, we have the Taj, we have the Tiger, we are the second most populous country of the world, but where we are in the sector of tourism, will our position go on declining like this? A question mark. So, try to give a different beginning to your article, not what 95% of the students might have done. Because generally what happens, in all the copies we find the same kind of beginning, and if yours is also the same, then definitely examiner won't have a different approach for your answer sheet. So to make it different, you should try something like this. That will definitely help. Then exposition. So here we can do what? We can use facts and figures and rhetorical questions. So what does this mean? Facts and figures, of course, if you are talking of like corruption, so you must know the details on that what was CWG scam or what was 2G scam, what was fodder scam. So many scams are there and were there. So if you don't know about that, who did this and how much money was embezzled in that, if you have no idea, then what will you write in that? That no, it's very bad thing, you shouldn't just do this, or you shouldn't be a part of such kind of things, otherwise, you can be put into prison and punished. So what? Insubstantial, totally hollow. So you must have certain information on topics, and how you can acquire that just by reading articles on different topics. You can get the information. That information can be used during your exam, and that will help you avoid wasting time. That's important. Because otherwise what, you will start thinking and you will waste your half an hour or more in writing an article. Now if you have already read certain topics, you will have a stock of information in your mind, and that stock can be used to write this article, and you will finish it up within 15 minutes, and that too a good one, right? So this is what you have to think on. And then I've written here rhetorical questions. So make it a rule that you use one rhetorical question at a proper place in your article, because if you do that, definitely that will make your article quite impressive, and examiner will definitely give you good marks. Now what is rhetorical question? It is something which is asked not to get an answer but to emphasize your viewpoint. That is called rhetorical question. For example, just when I was telling you about tourism, I said, will our position go on declining like this? And a question mark. So that is a rhetorical question, and that is used in an article to emphasize, to stress on our point. So that is the use of rhetorical question, and that must be used, as I said. Make it a rule that one at a proper place will definitely enhance the beauty of your work, right? Now, apart from this, there are certain other things that we can do. And what are those things? How to elaborate and how to proceed with the points. So you can talk of what? Problem. That what is the problem? Then what was the cause of that problem? Then you can talk of what? Consequences. So, if you try certain measures, then what will be the consequence? If nothing is done, then what will be the consequence? So, we can discuss in both ways, and finally, we can provide a solution to the problem. So, this is the way we need to proceed, and generally we do that. And you can also talk of what? One thing, that is role of individual. You can talk of role of individual, role of society, and role of government. Right? You can talk of these things. That will also help you elaborate the things. What should an individual do? What should a society do? What should the government do? Are they doing that or not? If they are not doing, why? If they are doing, then what is the correct way to do? And how can that help the prevailing situation to improve? So these are the things to be included. And finally, in conclusion, what you can do, you can talk of some suggestions, some opinions, some punchline can be given in the conclusion. So if you proceed in this way, you can definitely write a good article and you won't be at a loss of words at all, right? Now, apart from these things, there are some more points that I should share with you. And that is what there are certain approaches that can be used, and that is this keyword approach. Now, keyword approach means whatever topic is given to you, you just stretch that topic in whatever possible way you can, and you just that is the usual way generally the students do actually. What do they define the things and they write on the given topic, they try to stretch it. So that is keyword approach. And just as you do, like if it is on some corruption or dowry system, say. So in dowry system, what will you find in most of the copies? What is dowry system? The answer of that question is found in the answer sheets. So that is keyword approach. You are using that keyword and you are just writing on that. So, okay, usual one. Then we have viewpoint of the affected parties. Now, what does this mean, viewpoint of the affected parties? Whoever is affected by the certain thing, what are their views? What do they say? So, their views can be included and that too will help you elaborate the topic. And finally, the most important approach is this. In short, we can call it SPIELT. Now, S for society or say social, C for cultural, P for political, E for ethical, then again E for economic, then legal and then technical. So these are the different dimensions in which you can stretch a topic. And of course you need to do that. You just relate with it, what can be the social aspect of that certain problem, what can be the cultural aspect. For example, if you are talking of child labor, so what is the social dimension that around us we see a lot of small children, a lot of minors working in hotels or at houses. So that is the social aspect of that, and then you can elaborate further on that. Then cultural aspect is it has been a part of our history and culture, like right from the early times we see slaves. We have heard stories about slaves. There were bondage slavery and things. So we can talk of that. We can relate in that way. Political, how people play politics on this, that a minor cannot be engaged like this. I'll speak for you, I'll fight for you, you come with me. So people try to serve their interests in that way, play politics on this. Then ethical, that what is the child labor, whether that is correct or not, morally correct or not. A child aged 10 working in a house, is it proper or ethical to engage such a child at a house? Then economic, so that it serves or it helps the economy of the family and the society as well. Legal, are there any laws or provisions or clauses against that? Technical, the definition of child labor, what actually this is. So it means there are lots of, so if you think in these ways, you will have lots and lots of points to write, and you will never fall short of words. You can write not just in 150 words, you can write in 1500 words, and still you will have points to further elaborate. So this is just a small trick. Now, apart from this, what else you should do? You should use descriptive words and descriptive language. You should think of ways to enhance a simple line. So that definitely helps you. Otherwise, it will be a common one, like a small child of class 6th or 7th doing. So if you beautify the line or use good words and phrases, that definitely helps. And then say there are some more points that still, if you find any problem in elaboration, you can use or frame a series of questions on that topic, and then you just go about answering them. Because what happens if you have to speak or write on a certain topic, suppose I ask you to write on cloning. So what will happen that you may write a para or two, or then you will be all stuck. Now what to write? I don't get any points. But on the same topic, if I give you around 10 to 15 questions, you will be able to answer all those questions at least in 2 or 3 lines, and even if not, then at least 1 line. So that is the way actually our mind works, that if we have questions, we think of answers and we can go on answering. So you can frame an outline, you can arrange those questions in a proper manner, and then you can go on answering those questions, right? So these are the things that you should have in your mind, and just have certain practice, read different topics, and then practice some articles, right? And then try to beautify them, that how you can write a single sentence in different ways, what is a good one. So 1 or 2 such practices will definitely help you score very good marks. Or in such, here it is of 5 marks, so you will definitely have 5 out of 5. And not just in this, in long answer type questions as well, you will get very good marks. So this is the way we write an article. So I think it's all clear to you. That's it. Thank you very much.